All right, joining me this evening is Matt Kund. He is a publisher of comics. He creates his own comics, and he's also a podcaster. And he's currently running a Kickstarter, Mossvale. I believe I said that right. And so he's going to come on. He's agreed to come on and talk to us about it. The project ends in 7 days, and they're right, up against their goal. So let's bring him in, find out about the project and about himself. How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to join you and talk about comics here.
So before we get started about talking about the Kickstarter, tell me about your, I guess, journey with comics. Do you remember the first one you might have read, or what kind of made you want to start creating your own?
Sure. I don't know the exact issue number, but I'm pretty sure it was a GI Joe that I bought off a spinner rack, probably in the 50s, as far as like the issue number. The cartoon was sort of the gateway drug for me. Watching the cartoon, going into a drugstore, seeing the spinner rack, and picking up a GI Joe comic, and I was from there was not knowing at the time that there was sort of brand loyalty. I developed a Marvel loyalty, and it was, Spider-Man, Captain America, and all of those things. Buying those off of a spinner rack. Eventually, the direct market came around, and I found a comic book store that I was going to, getting different books and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people have a similar journey where they sort of fall out of comic books for a while, but I got back into comics a little while ago, probably about 10 to 12 years ago. It's a relatively short story, but I was at work one time and I was going through a lot of stuff, and I was deciding, I was like, hey, what was something that I really enjoyed when I was a kid? And I was like, I really enjoyed comic books. So I'm just sitting there working on a spreadsheet, putting numbers into a Excel file. So podcasts were coming around, so I decided I was going to listen to a podcast, just something to have white noise, and it was comics podcast. So I started listening to those. That sort of got the bug again for me to get a pull list, and it's been, I've had a pull list at my shop for about 10, 12 years, and then the bug to create came around. A couple years ago, there was some writer only submissions at Omni Press, and I sent two of those in. Those were rejected. But then I decided that I wasn't going to take no for an answer. So I then sort of found the Kickstarter community, and I did two. Well, I've done a total of three individually through Kickstarter. So it was just one of those things where it was finding something that I loved, podcast, sort of reinvigorating that love for it, a pull list, and then deciding that I wanted to create them from there.
And so, I believe, am I correct that you were recently on 11 o'clock comics?
I posted in the group.
Okay.
I'm a fan, and I've been there for a while, but I've never been
Okay,
on.
that's my mistake.
No, that's okay.
Um, so so why don't you tell us about your Kickstarter that you're currently running? What's it about, and which audience is who's the audience?
So this is the third book that I will be taking to Kickstarter with the Ageless publishing imprint. I have a partner in that's Brett Murphy. He's done some books for Behemoth. He did the Paranormal Hitman book at Behemoth. So he and I decided to sort of join forces and create this small company. We did two books before this called Dino Thrashers, which was a little bit of an older age range, maybe like 13 and up. This book, we're branding it as 7 and up. It's fantasy action. There's no graphic violence or anything that you wouldn't want a child to read. Most of the violence is inflicted on spiders, and I don't know if that sort of helps with the sort of cartoonishness of it. But like we said, this is 7 and up. And basically it follows the adventures of an owl that's a wizard and a raccoon that is a knight. The owl discovers that an artifact that they thought was missing is not missing. So he recruits the raccoon, who is a knight, who is not the bravest knight in the world, to go on this quest to find the artifact. And once they get in there to find it, they realize that there's much more at play in the land of Mossvale than simply going in there and recovering this artifact.
And so, kind of, what inspired you to create this, this world, this story?
So I'm acting as the publisher here
Okay.
on this. The art and the story has been done by an individual that I've become friends with named Travis Wells.
Okay.
Sort of the way that this story came to me is my podcasting partner, Noah Ray. He was working on Dino Thrashers, and at the same time, Travis was working on pages for Mossvale. And Travis wanted to know if there was a way that he could take this thing that he was working on at home and possibly get it to a larger audience. And Noah, sitting right next to him, was like, well, I have a podcasting partner. He's helped me run 2 books through Kickstarter with his publishing company. I've been following the story along through Travis's Instagram, so I was excited for it. He sent me, roughly 10 to 12 pages as a pitch, and it was a pretty easy, like, yep, let's go ahead and move forward with this one. So I'm acting as the publisher, but the two guys, the artist, the writer Travis and Noah are very good friends of mine. So we've all sort of teamed up to work on this.
Nice. And sorry, I kind of got a little confused there. So,
Oh, that's perfectly okay.
and so, what are you, kind of offering for people to, for your campaign, as in, rewards?
So we have pretty much, the stuff that you would expect to see. We have digital copies, as low as $3. We have print copies. We're going to go with a larger sort of print size. It'll be a little bit larger than the standard U.S. comic. It'll be like almost 8.5 by 10. So it'll be a little bit of a larger size book. We're also offering a digital library of everything that Noah and myself have created to this point. That will also include a copy of Mossvale. So those are sort of the stuff that you would expect to see from a Kickstarter. You know, a digital copy, print copies. You know, libraries of previous created books. And then we have some sort of higher end tiers. We have art pages that are for sale. Um, and one of the really interesting things about those art pages is that Travis does everything on the board traditionally. You know, if you were to get a piece of original art, say that was in a Marvel book or a DC book, you're probably getting blue line digital pencils and then somebody inking over top of it. But this is Travis's pencils, Travis's inks, and the colors are there because he's doing all of these colors with markers, and he does really amazing stuff with the markers to be able to, lights, shadows, the staff that the wizard has, sort of when it illuminates, you see like reflections of light. So he's doing a lot of amazing things with just markers. So if you were to get a page, you're going to get everything. You'll also get the lettering won't be there, but the word balloons will be there because Travis also, as he's making the pages, will draw in the word balloons, and Noah is then going in and digitally lettering those because we've made some tweaks to the script. But it's a really interesting way to get a piece of art because you're getting almost everything other than the letters in the word balloons.
Very
So
nice. As we're as I'm listening to you, I'm scrolling through, and I love the art. I mean, it's a very looks like it's a very clean, and I always looking for kid friendly books to give people ideas about.
yeah, so one more reward that we're doing is that we have a sculptor who is going to do like one of a kind sculpts. These are relatively high tier items. Um, and so you could get a sculpt of one of the characters. And what's really neat is we're seeing him sort of work in the background, and he sent us some of the work that he's done. He's actually for like the Nigel, the wizard. He's put a blue light bulb in the staff so that like if you flick the on off switch on the back, the staff will sort of flicker with, you know, to replicate the sort of the magic that comes
Uh-huh.
out of the staff. Yeah, so that is the one that he's done for us already. We got that as a gift for Travis for his birthday, but we're gonna make more of those if people are interested. So those are some of the higher end tier ones that we're doing is the art pages and the sculpts. But again, as you would expect with a comic Kickstarter, there's digital copies, print
Uh-huh.
copies, and stuff like that. So
Well, just so you know, I believe I'm the was the 100th backer for the project.
very cool. So you will be getting we do sort of
Yeah,
incremental back, whenever a backer comes in at a round number like that, we do a sketch. So I think you're getting one from Noah, if I remember correctly.
that's cool. I mean, I was looking at it, and I was just kind of, not that I was like biding my time, but that was just a nice little extra thing to get. So, and I've been following your project on Facebook, and it looks like it's a very nice book, and I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, another thing that's very important to us is a very quick turnaround. As we're running the Kickstarter, all of the art for the book is done. All 25 pages are colored. Noah has gone in and he's lettered the book. We did an editing pass. He's re-lettered the book. Um, I think one of the next things that we do here as we go in the next week or so, we watch these numbers come up. What we're going to do is prep the files for the printer. and have those uploaded. So hopefully the next thing we can do is, once the funds come in, you sort of, hit the approval button with the printer to go ahead. So we're doing, promotion of the book, and but still sort of behind the scenes, the production of the book is still going on, and it's very close to nearly done. So one of the things that's very important to us is timeliness. Like, it would be really awesome that the Kickstarter closes, it funds, maybe 24, 48 hours later, we can hit that button, and digital copies are going out, and then we can do an update saying, hey, we got confirmation from the printer that they've accepted our files and stuff like that. So we're hoping for a very quick turnaround there as well.
That's really cool, and I know that that's one thing that I would say is rare with Kickstarter, but a lot of people aren't that prepped to get the project to the people.
Yeah, it's been an evolving process for me. I dipped my toes in for my very first Kickstarter. I had 2 pages done. And I needed to do another 18. I've gone in with like half the book done, but this is the first time where we've able to, feel confident that, once we had launched, we had all of the art done. We knew most of the lettering was on point. We were going to make a few tweaks here and there. So yeah, it was very important for us to sort of up our game in that we're the production model for us works a lot faster than it has in the past.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have any projects of your own in the works, or maybe tell us a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, so I do the Constructing Comics podcast, and that is with, like I mentioned before, Noah, who's sort of my creative partner in most of the stuff that I worked on. The books that I've worked on, he's had some role in it, either editing, lettering, coloring. We've done 3 mini comics ourselves that we self-published, and we take to like cons and stuff like that. Probably the thing that's coming up most recently, or most quickly for me, is that I will be part of the Cthulhu Invades Wonderland anthology that is coming to Kickstarter on St. Patrick's Day of this year. I did a story that is the Queen of Hearts. So we were all able to pick characters, and one of the interesting things about this is that even though it's an anthology, the creators wanted to make sure that there was a through line through the book. So some people picked chaos, some of people picked order, and so there's almost a timeline for this war. So I have a 6-pager in that. So that's one of the most recent things that I have coming up. On the larger scale of that is 2022. Possibly 2023, is I have 2 books that the contracts have been signed. One is with Source Point Press. It is called Metal Eagle, and that is about the CIA creating a heavy metal band to go around Eastern Europe and Europe in the late 1980s, early 1990s. One of the taglines I use for it is Atomic Blonde meets This is Spinal Tap. And then the other book I have is with Red 5 Comics, and that is a book called it's called Dying Days. It's a story of sort of a pandemic where everybody ages rapidly, and as you age rapidly, that sort of continues. So it's a race against the clock to find a solution and to find out why it's happening. So those are the 2 really big things that I have coming up this year and next year.
Well, I mean, I'd love to have you back to talk about those when it's time, if you're interested.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that is the other, the other thing that's important is, as much as like the sort of the Kickstarter is the promotion machine, the promotion piece of it, as even though you have a publisher and you're in previews, if you're in, you're not DC and Marvel, you still have to, hit that virtual pavement and get out there and get the words out, or get the word out, because you want shop owners, you want podcasters, folks on video to know about it. So definitely that's something I would love to you know take advantage of.
So, is there anything that maybe we didn't cover about the project that you wanted to, you know, make mention of?
The for the Mossvale project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really happy about it that even though that I'm not on the creative side, I'm working more on the publisher and the promotion side. I'm really excited to be able to, hopefully go to a con here very soon, and hand the book to a 7, 8 year old, 9, 10 year old. One of the things that was for me was reading The Hobbit at about age 10 or 11, and sort of loving that level of um, adventure, and being scared but not being too scared, which I think is something that's really important with, like, all ages comics. So
Mhm.
I'm just really excited to be able to um, hand the book to a smaller kid. My kids ask me if they can read my comics, and I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait a couple of years." I wrote a book about a zombie apocalypse, and big pharma like getting its hands into it, and I'm like, I don't really think that that's your speed, but this book comes out. My daughter, who is 10, 11 years old, she's already excited to read it. So I think that's one of the biggest things, is to be able to um, hand the book to younger kids, and hopefully make comics readers of them, and then as they age, they'll experience stuff that's for them. But I think that's the thing that I'm most excited, is to create something for a younger audience.
Very nice. And like I said, I'm very interested to you know get to read it. So, kind of as we kind of wrap up here, would you like to give one final pitch for the Kickstarter, and then maybe where people can go to find you on social media?
Sure. So the what we have on the Kickstarter is we write, in the land of Mossvale, Nigel Hoo has discovered an ancient scroll that reveals the location of a long forgotten artifact. With the help of the hired help of Sir Lucius, Nigel delves deep underground, only to discover that the artifact is anything but forgotten. It is tied to an evil plot that is growing in the shadowy places of Mossvale. So this is, like I said, the first book here, ages 7 and up. But also, I think if you're older, and you get this for your kids, you'll still enjoy reading it as well. Um, you can go to Facebook. We have a page for Ageless Press. We have an Instagram for Ageless Press, and a Twitter for Ageless Press. Um, so yeah, those are the three main places for that. As far as me individually, I have a Twitter, which is at mkoon. That's my first initial, and the way my last name is spelled. I have an Instagram, which is MAK0876. Those are places where you can see my attempts at drawing, and stuff like that. So yeah, that would be the best place, is either the social media for Ageless Press, or if you want to see some of my stuff individually, I'll post pictures of Metal Eagle and Dying Days, panels here and there, just to keep people up to date on the progress, so you can see those projects there.
Cool. And well, I don't want to keep you too long, so uh, I want to wish you best of luck on as the in the final week of the Kickstarter, and you'll get it. You'll be you'll make it.
Yeah, I'm trying to maintain my sanity. It's the Kickstarter sort of ups and downs. You launch, you get a lot of stuff, you get a lot of backers, you feel like, oh, this thing is going to take off. It's not going to be any problem. Then you get into the middle of it. It's like 1, 2, 3 backers a day, and you just sort of keep going. And I'm also tracking the number of people who are watching the project, and there's it seems like the first 2 days there's a rush, then there's like a trickle in the middle, and then the last 2 days there's a rush as well. So I'm tracking that, and I'm sort of counting on that last 48 hour you know push that most Kickstarters see.
Well, hopefully somebody will, watch this video and be interested and want to check it out. I'll be sure to include the link in the notes, and when I, post it, I'll make sure to send you the link to the video and include for people the link to the Kickstarter.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We're, just as we finish up, it's really exciting to see um, the number of people who are backing it. Like you said, you were backer 100. That was a milestone for us. We're looking at the 125, and just to see, it's not so much for me the funding number, which is definitely important because that's the funding goal we need to get to print the book to pay everybody for their part of the book. But it's really exciting to see the number of people that are going to get the book, and if it's X number at the end, it's going to be super exciting that we created this story that, let's just say, I'll throw out a number, 175 people get in some form, either a digital copy that they can read on their tablet, or in a few weeks sent to them in the mail, and everything will be sent. I have a box of Gemini mailers, so the books will be packaged up very safe. They'll come without any dings in them. So that's seeing the numbers of backers is really the thing that gets us excited.
Well, hopefully I'll, as conventions start back up, maybe I'll run into you sometime at one of them.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I really enjoy is going to cons, being around people, and having the chance to try to hand sell the book. That's a lot of fun, and it's just it's great to be around like-minded people who like to read comics, create comics, and just get excited about it. So yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully we can link up sometime.
Well, I want to thank you again for taking the time this evening, and best of luck on the project.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this book.
All right, we'll be in touch.